And we're live. Welcome to NoChaNoMa, Simon's living room. Here I am back in my living room, and it's time to wet the palate, as it were. Welcome to Pablo. Welcome to Phil, Jazz Samurai. I've just spent the past like half an hour trying to couple together some natsukashi from my various Japan visits, and hopefully those will be transmitted across the airwaves, and you will hear sound and vision. And I shall rely on you guys to tell me whether it works or not. If it doesn't, then I'm buggered, and I shall just have to sort of go to pictures, and we'll have a slideshow. This is my trip to Japan. Welcome, one and all. 5 of you, all of a sudden. Well, my spamming worked then. Hello. Yes, I could start taking jumpers off because it's despite the fact that it's winter or approaching winter and was 5 degrees this morning. Hello, man, summer. That in this room with the central heating and the sunshine, it's pretty warm. But I had a rather nice morning. Just pottered about getting this all ready, and then I went off to get my coffee in town, which you have to do takeaway, and wandered off to the museum garden and sat on a bench and ate my chocolates and drank my coffee in clear blue sky, sunshine, but it was quite cold, about 5 degrees, something like that. Mindy's mom is here, and it's very late over there, and I appreciate this greatly. Thank you for joining. Everybody, Mindy's mom, everybody. And Ellen, blimey, that's a long time ago. Ellen, Mindy's mom, Ellen. Ellen met up with Shinichi as well in Amsterdam when I was there. So that's how, Ellen is a Shinichi fan and Mindy's mom is a Shinichi fan. So talk amongst yourselves and introduce one another and all that business. If you don't already know each other, of course. So yes, natsukashi, happy memories, which is all I really have got at the moment after 2 years of absence from Japan. I'd kind of at my last visit in 2018, I'd kind of said, shall I go back? I was kind of demotivated, slightly due to a lady in Yamaguchi, and things not particularly working in that respect. And then 2020 happened, and I was all set to go and make it all happen and see all my other friends. But then something happened, as we all know. You have to behave. Yes, there are ladies present, and Tomo may also join. I sent her a link to watch. So yes, best behavior, Pablo. Oh, hello. That's possibly my friend in. Yes, hang on. I'm sort of simultaneously chatting with my friend in Nihonbashi. Right, I shall just show her where my show is taking. She's asking where my show is taking place today. If I do that, right. Here. Here and now. Living room, in my living room. Smiley face. Okay, there we are. Who or what is Shinichi that people are? Mindy's mom and Ellen, explain to Jazz Samurai who Shinichi is. Saves me having to type it all out. But he's a YouTuber in Japan, together with his partner Satoshi. He does. He's very popular, 500,000 subscribers, and then he does food videos mostly, but also vlogs and things, and lots of live streams, and it's quite popular. Obviously, 500,000 subscribers, definitely popular. But yes, where was I? I couldn't get back to Japan, so I've just got happy memories, and it's all right me talking about that. But I shall now do my slideshow. I shall go over here and press start. Right, that's That's me in the corner, losing my religion. um, so this is, yes, I think it's 30 seconds delay. So you have to, this is like a slideshow that I prepared for my Japanese class end of term thing. So it's just something I had prepared earlier, which I've just slapped on. So this is in a temple garden, and this is in Brussels airport. This was my first trip to Japan in 2015, and it was all very special because it was the first or the reinstatement of direct flights from Belgium to Brussels. So it was all like singing, all dancing. I think Miss Japan is there. Yeah, if I can, hang on, if I move myself, there, Miss Japan. Yeah, was there, and I got a photo taken of her with her, which will appear. There we are, like that. I got a photo taken with Miss Japan 2015. So it was all very exciting. It was sort of extra special. Englandese may contain nuts. Hello, that's a long time ago. May contain nuts. So yes. Oh, hang on. Green screen. Technical difficulties. Chroma key. Don't want to go there. That's Sensoji Temple. One of the first places I went when I got to Japan, actually. Well, I first met up with a YouTuber who I was staying with, who lived in Shonan, and she and I then went to Tokyo on the train and wandered about and had a look at things like Sensoji in Asakusa. Hang on, green's chroma key. Excuse me, it's like technical. There we are. To get rid of the green bits. Yes, it's a lot easier, I suppose, if I'm down in my real living room, but I have to transport all these gubbins downstairs then. So yes, that's a closer look. It was very busy then, obviously in Asakusa in those days. And this is a little restaurant tucked behind somewhere in a street behind the temple, called Wantanai Kiko, and it was there that me and my YouTube friend, we went for lunch, and I met up with one of the shamisen players that you may have seen in the advert. She and her friend sometimes work there. It's run by a professional shamisen player, this restaurant, and they appear there, they serve, and they also do concerts. And then we jump to, of course, Shibuya at night, I think. Everyone who visits Tokyo visits that temple, Dibble. Yes, they do. Yes, it's one of the top spots. And now it's probably, I mean, you can't visit now unless you happen to be there coincidentally. But it's now very quiet there. But yes, this was Shibuya. A bit out of focus. I was all very excited. I think that's from Starbucks, looking down at trying to look at the Scramble Crossing in the dark. Not very successfully. But yes, I mean, for all those who've been, this is also one of the things you all do. You go there and you see the crossing. It's probably packed this weekend. Yes, I can imagine now. Yes, go to Shibuya. They're all wearing masks though, so it's all right. Oh yes, I shall move myself. Oh no. Hang on. That's my actress friend. Another reason I went to Japan. Yeah, so I could meet up with the actress friend Yoko Shimada. That's and I've become friends with her since then, and seen her several times, and been to a nightclub with her, and been out to dinner with her, and it's all very nice. Oh, this is random. This is my friend's house in Shonan. She doesn't live there anymore. Her husband was in the Navy, or is in the Navy, and they moved around a lot. And I think she now lives in Zushi. After moving back to Japan, she went to America back for a while and then moved back. But I stayed in this house. It was rather nice. Yes. So, what are your memories, Shinkansen? Anybody got any memories of their times in Japan? I mean, Jazz Samurai lives there, so an Englandese lives there. What are your memories, Englandese, of Japan? I remember. And you've been to? Have you been to Japan, Dibble? I can't remember. Oh, this is a soba, a noodle restaurant in. This is all very random. In Shizuoka, I went to visit another YouTuber, and he and his wife then took me out to lunch, and we went to a soba restaurant. I had first time ever having cold soba on one of those bamboo sort of mat things. It's very nice. And this was not the soba restaurant, but another, actually an Italian restaurant, surprisingly, in also in Shizuoka, and it happened to be Halloween. And so I was there in my top hat because this was my old show where I tended to wear a top hat on the old show. So I wasn't too out of place, sat there wearing my top hat and all these people dressed up. Only vague memories of of Japan. Yes. Man from Miyagi has only vague memories. And this is the longest wooden footbridge in Japan, apparently. Um, Horaibashi, also in Shizuoka. Did a lot in Shizuoka in the first sort of visit because I stayed with these YouTube friends there for a while. The good old days before COVID, yes, when you could sort of move freely. Well, you can move freely in Japan now, apparently. Uh, my friend's just come back from Okinawa, so yes, some of you will recognise this lady. This is and I have hopefully a video to show you later. This is Tomoko Des of the Tomoko channel, who lives in Nagoya. So I met her as well, and this is us at Nagoya Castle. It was raining. It was one of the one day in 2015 where it did rain on my visit. Hey, Tomo's here. Tomo, say hi to Pablo, Dibble, Jazz Samurai, Englandese, Mindy's mom, and Ellen, and who else have we got? Other people who I might have missed. Tomodes, yes, your Tomodes. That was Tomokodes. Here's some plastic food. It only costs 1,050 yen for a plate of plastic food. Yes, sake. This is sake in a izakaya in Nagoya. I think that's sashimi on that plate, one piece left, and in that bowl thing was pig's intestines in miso, which is rather nice. And then the lady produced a huge bottle of sake and filled that cup until it overflowed. And then I and my friends then drank from that. And I remember being quite tipsy after that. Oh, again, yes, this is also in Nagoya the same year. After having met the actress in Shibuya, she said, I said I was going to Nagoya. She said, "Oh, I'm going there. Perhaps we could meet up." So we did, and we went to a nightclub. And I brought all my YouTube friends, who were quite. One of them was quite overawed because, as a young man, he had been a big fan of hers. And fortunately for me, I was completely ignorant of the niceties of Japanese nightclubs and didn't realize you had to pay a fee to go in. So we had lots of drinks and had a jolly good time. And then the bill came. And fortunately, my friend's husband was a top man from a cosmetics company, and he was the one who was overawed by the fact that he was meeting his like famous actress woman that he loved, and so he paid for everything, which was good. And this is the view from this is the standard hotel view, room view from this was in Nagoya. Yes, I'll try and what I'll try and do is I'll pause this for a while and get some sound and vision going. Playlist. All right, see if I can. Not there. Oh, that's on the way to Yamaguchi. So it's typical Japanese. Englandese will recognize that kind of scenery. It's his neck of the woods. Right, let's see if I can do this. It's share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Oop. Oh, no, I want a big. Yeah. I want this. Oh no, I don't want that. Exit full screen. Oh. Right, let's see. Excuse me, it's a struggle here. What do I need to go to here, and I need to press play. Tell me if you can hear this. Okay. Hooray! Those are my friends, the shamisen girls. When I first met them in Ueno Park. Well, here I am at Rurakuji Temple drinking white sake, which is rather nice. That was my friend in Yamaguchi.
Oh, my octopus balls. My octopus balls are moving. Your octopus balls are moving.
Yes, nothing like octopus balls. Whoa. We're just about to go into the caves. As you can see, it's very noisy, but very beautiful. Shuren Inn. You still able to see this, everybody? Oh, it's sort of flickering. I don't know why it's flickering.
Looks like I beat the Chinese tourists.
Here we are, Kyoto.
Actually beat everybody.
Pre-COVID Kyoto, and also quiet.
Ninenzaka.
But that's because it was like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Shut. But it's nice and quiet.
Yeah, Shuren Inn is nice.
I'm heading towards too.
One day I'll get there when they do the lights at night.
Sorry. Lots of very typical Japanese buildings. Kyoto has not disappointed.
This is also in Yamaguchi. If Englandese might know this, this is Benten Beppu Ike. It's a sort of healing water pond.
If drunk, make you live longer. But there's no bathing and no drinking allowed.
Sorry about the flickering. It was something to do with Google Drive.
The Heian Palace Gardens.
It was jumping about here from year to year, from place to place. This is in Kyoto again.
Here with Naoki-san.
That's another YouTuber there with the sunglasses.
Uchizumi-san.
Worst guide.
Yes. There we are. Don't come to Arashiyama with Tomoko desu. come with Google Maps instead. There we go.
本当なんでだろうね。Why?
Here we are in just on our Purikura.
It's my first, only, ever, and last Purikura.
All my guests and future
no
guests.
one is going to see it. You have to use a magnifying glass to see this. These are all been on my show, these people.
Well, here we are in Nagoya with Tomoko desu. I shall just switch. There we are. Tomoko desu. And
We are going to
we're going to go to Yamachan.
Yamachan.
I can highly recommend Yamachan. delicious chicken wings.
We're live. We're boom, there we are. We even had technical difficulties.
That's right.
More YouTubers.
Special edition of business time.
Right.
Nothing of business.
I'm not quite sure if I'm filming his face or the floor, but here we go. That's the end of that. And we're going to stuff our faces. Excuse me.
This is the last one I managed to do before, like, having to start the show. This is my
with
last trip
a
in
one-night
2018, and this is Onomichi.
the guests.
It's a lovely
the fellow
place.
guests and the hosts are also really nice.
Well, there, that was the end of that. Stop sharing, stop screen. Okay. So that was. I mean, there's loads more, but they're all. I never really sort of arranged them. I was having to sort of dig out the SD cards and stick them into my computer and transfer stuff onto this, that, and the other just to get that going. Preparation. What's that? Never heard of it. But anyway, yes. I mean, I quite like what I like about Japan. One of the things I like about Japan is the variety. Is that, I mean, with the exception of the temples and the shrines, which all look the same. When I was in Onomichi, I went up the hills and lovely hillside sort of streets, little narrow streets, with a view like that view over the bay with the hills, wonderful, and lots of just regular kind of houses but tiny streets, very sort of cozy. And here and there we're at a temple. Oh, I'll have a look at this temple. And then I walked along. Another temple, great, another temple. Looks very similar to the last one. And walked along, another one, a shrine. Looks almost like the last one. So yeah, very, very conservative in temple design. Apart from possibly the mausoleum of Tokugawa Ieyasu in Nikko, which is very elaborate. But that was one particular period in shrine design. The rest is all. I think Tomoko Des did a video the other day where she went to a quite recent shrine, an all-faith Buddhist shrine that had been built in the late 20th century. And it looked exactly like all Buddhist shrines built for the past 1,000 years. I suppose, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. But I mean, yeah, come on. You've only been up for 10 minutes for coffee. Well, it's lunchtime, Dibble. Come on. So what I do have, or what I can do, for those of you on Facebook at the moment, and I have sent a link to my friend in Sabai, who was on the show, and he said he might pop in comments. He's not here, and he's not looking at his line. He's probably got stuff to do. But anybody, I'm looking at you, Mindy's mom, who feels the urge to come on and share your memories, please say so in comments, and I can then find a way to get you a link. Yes, the churches are all the same. Yes, it's although you. That said, I went to a church in Yamaguchi, in Yamaguchi City, sort of to celebrate it was a church that sort of celebrates the founder of Christianity in Japan, actually, Saint Xavier, Portuguese chap, priest chap who came there and introduced Christianity to Japan. And it's a very modern looking church. It was obviously rebuilt or built in the 50s. It's very sort of modernist style. Yes, you can't add me on Facebook. I don't know why. You have to send me a friend request, possibly. Try that. I'm only visible to friends and friends of friends, and anybody that sends me a friend request that I don't know. I mean, obviously, I do know you because you're a viewer, but in the world of social media that I don't know, who is not in some way connected to any of my friends, they don't. They get sent to my sort of alternative folder or something. So I might look there if you sent me a friend request in the past. But you can try sending me a friend request, and we'll see how that goes. I noticed that Mindy's mom has gone quiet. It's probably too late in the night over there, Mindy's mom, if you're still watching. And Ellen, I know that you don't want to be on. And Tomo, it's probably bath time. But anybody else, you're perfectly welcome. So what I'll do, I'll get this carried on again. Play start. So that was off to Yamaguchi. To see that lady who you saw sort of popping up in the background trying to drink my amazake. And who was also eating octopus balls with me. You're still here, but you don't want to come on the show. It's perfectly... There she is. That's my friend in Yamaguchi. That's one of the reasons... Oh, no, 2 reasons I went to Japan in 2015. This lady and my actress friend. And Japan, of course, and my YouTube friends. But, I mean, serious motivation. I haven't heard from her for about 6 months, so I don't think there's anything, after 4 years of attempting to take a friendship to the next level, it hasn't worked. So, 3:56 a.m. That's dedication for you. I do that sometimes with eyes munches, but then it's like 5 a.m. Yes, she is. She was a television and radio presenter in Fukui, which is, and then she moved to Yamaguchi, and in her early years in Fukui, she was also a beauty queen, but now she's a grandma. I think she's our age, or a little older even, and still looks like that. So it's rather amazing. Oh, this was in Yamaguchi. That was my first Japanese breakfast at an onsen hotel in Yamaguchi. Quite different to my regular European breakfast, which is just cereals and marmalade sandwiches. This was rice and fish and tsukimono, like pickled vegetables, not the usual sort of thing, and some green tea. And I was served by a rather lovely young lady in a kimono. Don't generally get that in my kitchen. You can, Phil. This was, yes, we went to I've forgotten the name of the temple, but it was a temple that is set up by a Zen artist, priest chap in the 17th century, sort of designed the garden. I used to know where this was. There seems to be a lot of her. This is 2015, so I did have in my first splurge of videos, I did a series of 5 videos about my first trip to Japan. You can see them on my channel, on my sort of regular channel, not on the live stream channel. And I had a 6th video lined up, all about my visit to Yamaguchi and her. Oh, there's the octopus balls again. Hang on, Phil. Let's see if I can. Right, Facebook, Messenger. Come on, Messenger. All right, I'll scroll. All right. I can't remember. Was it COVID or Corona? Co. All right, who's that? Oh, Pablo. All right, Pablo. Oh, there you go. Pablo, hang on. Pablo wants to send me a message. Messenger. Hang on. Are you on here? Does it appear? Can I see Pablo? Pablo. Yeah, here we go. All right. There we are. Pablo, that's what you look like. All right, okay, Pablo. Okay. Well, tell you what, I'll do you first, as it were. Right, invite, copy. Hope you got your pants on, Pablo, because it's appearing in your. There you go. Okay, Phil now. Phil, where's Phil? COVID. Corona, coronavirus in Japan. It's a nice name you have, Phil. There we go. Paste. There we go, Phil. What was that? Who's pinging me now? Is that you? I sent you. Yeah, it's in your chat, Phil. It's in your Corona chat. So there you go. You just click that. Oh, this is in Shibuya. This is my room in Shibuya, in a hostel there. First and only time I ever got a bus in Japan was from the station to this hostel. You sent me a normal message. Oh yes, hang on. Yeah, if you look on your Corona thing, it's in there. Oh, you can't live stream. Well, there you go. Oh yeah, this is a photo of. So after I met Konami, that's the one in the yellow top, at when she was working at this restaurant with my friend. I arranged then to meet up with them at Ueno Park, and that little bit clip you saw is from. I made much more sort of like footage of that, of them playing there, and then we went to lunch, which was rather nice. I didn't ask. I did ask if Pablo had his pants on. Yes, you have to be careful. That's us having come out of lunch, and the chap peering behind is another shamisen player, but also a financial advisor. But he's a friend of the shamisen players, and he was actually the one that bought the lunch. Friends with him, obviously, on Facebook. I haven't seen him for a while. He's about my age. Plays rugby as well. Kurihara-san. Oh, and this is in Ueno Park. This is the temple in Ueno Park, and you can look through this. This is a viewing spot. This tree is quite famous at this temple, and from the Meiji period. Hello, Phil. Hang on, I'll just put you in.
Oh. Hello.
Mute me on your tab so that we don't get. Have you been to Ueno Park, Phil?
Ueno Park.
Mm.
Yeah, that's where the museum is, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to the museum a couple times. Ueno Park's where all the homeless people live.
I don't know. I didn't really sort of like go and see them. I didn't particularly go there for that purpose.
It's famous for homeless people in a museum.
I've been to the museums there. Yes.
There you go. Well,
Mindy's mom says hello, Phil.
Hello, Mindy's mom. How am I gonna do? This is very multimedia. I gotta figure out how to get. Oh my god. Okay. Just the chat. There we go. Huh. So, are we just gonna comment on your pictures?
Or you can relate tales of Japan, your vague memories of Japan.
Mm.
What was I mean, when you came there and sort of like, you know, what was your first abiding memory of Japan?
I think I told this story before, but I got off the plane and
that's right. I'm going to live
fell
here.
in love with the country. But I went the first time. It was such an ordeal to get there the first time. It took 2 days. We sat on a plane in Spain for 2 days, and the flight kept getting canceled, and they put us on the plane, canceled, put us on the plane, canceled.
Oh dear.
It was a nightmare. So it really, that also cemented how great Japan was compared to Spain in my mind. But then I just went for 1 week, the first time I was there, went to Tokyo, and then Shinkansen down to Kyoto for 2 days. Or maybe even did 1 day. I can't remember exactly how that worked. No, 2 days in Kyoto and then came back. Yeah, and I love Kyoto. Kyoto is.
It's very relaxing. Yeah. I mean, I like Tokyo. I mean, Tokyo is my favorite, really.
I'm not a fan.
Well, I mean, I like the fact that it's like the largest city in the world, but it doesn't feel like that necessarily. This is Meiji Shrine here, sort of traditional wedding going on. Just happened to be lucky to wander in and see that going on. Oh, this, and I was at Meiji Shrine because I was in Shibuya, that end of Shibuya, because I was going to visit my friend here, my singer friend Chuck, Chuck the Magpie, who was in comments last week. That's her singing in a club in Shibuya. She has a PhD in Renaissance theatre, but also sings. That's one. Singing is a passion, and as also is Shakespeare. So this was actually
a lot of call for people with a PhD in Renaissance theatre. So in
Japan. That's her. Me doing the usual. Yes, that's the first and only time I've ever met her, but I've been friends with her for about 7 years now, and we keep in regular contact. So
see, this is a good example. You're not quite doing the peace thing right.
No, it should be.
It's supposed to be next to your face.
Yeah.
At this angle, it's not supposed to be out front. It's supposed to be there.
Yes,
closer,
and I'm not
better. Even touching the face is good.
Yeah.
And
but
also,
duck face. You have to do the duck face.
You have to do a three-quarter pose. You have to do a three. My wife told me this. You have to do a three-quarter pose, especially if you're foreign, because the Japanese people want to see the height of your nose.
Well, I've got a very high nose. So
well, there you go.
Yeah. I tick all the boxes.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, Kyoto is, but Kyoto, it has this reputation in Japan of being snobby and of believing that they are the true Japanese and all the rest of this stuff. I'm going to answer Mindy's mom's question in a second, but I find Kyoto to be kind of like a magical kind of place. And I have another house, as I think I said I have another house in Kyoto, near Fushimi Inari.
Oh, right.
Near Fushimi Inari Shrine. I have a
so
house
you go walking regularly up the hill.
I do. And you walk in that thing, and here I'm a foreigner, and I'm not in the greatest of shape, but I'm not in bad shape. I go to the gym 3 times a week and walk 5 kilometers a day and all the rest of the stuff.
Bloody hell.
So, I'm doing this at Fushimi Inari and just about ready to have my heart blow out of my chest. And then you get some little 85-year-old Japanese woman like this. So yes, to answer Mindy's mom's question. I literally fell in love with Japan. I in between getting off the plane and getting on the bus from the airport to go to downtown Tokyo, I turned to my then wife and said, I love this country. I'm going to live here. And I didn't just stay, but I have been here now that was in 2006. And by 2012, I was living here. Yeah. Without that wife, I must say, but.
Yes, it's come to Japan, lose your wife. There we go. Yeah, which is better.
Yeah.
So Fushimi Inari, let's just get back to that, because I went there. I don't know whether any pictures will come up. I think I went there in 2017. Yeah, and it was absolutely packed. Like mostly Chinese tourists. Yeah. But what I did notice was that once I got to about like halfway up, it was deserted. Like they all get to so far, and they go and walk down. And I thought, why? It's not that. There's steps, and it's bloody easy. Where's everybody gone?
Yeah.
So,
but coming down is harder. I found on my knees. And there's quite a long circuit, and so if you do certainly the back half of Fushimi Inari, there's never anybody there except you and like 3 90-year-old Japanese people who are running or something like that.
What I did find though was that sort of you get all the way to the top and it's like underwhelming. The sort of the little shrine at the top is like, oh, is that it? I've come all this way. I mean, it's obviously the Torii gates all the way up. Like, wow, it's like it's a big build up, and then you get to the top and it's like, oh.
And like when Spielberg did Memoirs of a Geisha. And they shot a lot of it there. That really changed how popular it was. That was, of course, before my time. But my friend said that, back in the, let's say the 90s or 2000s. Not a lot of people were there at Fushimi Inari, not like it is now. That was also before the Chinese really started to come in force. I mean, in Kyoto, so many people are, for us, this is going to sound horrible, but we look down the street and go, look at all those people wearing kimonos and things like that. But a lot of them are going to be Chinese tourists.
Yeah, with the kimono rental. Yeah. Oh, Mindy's mom's mentioning
Yes.
this.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, family all over Shizuoka. I don't know where Ofuna is. Where's Ofuna?
I did know. I'm not quite sure. Maybe at Tokyo Station when they were like renovating the plaza outside there.
I don't know about those places. I've been all over. I've been Honshu, and Shikoku. I've been to way more places in Japan than my wife has. My Japanese wife. But I don't know where. I haven't ever been to Yokohama. Because I'm addicted to ramen, I have to keep away from Yokohama.
I don't know.
But so Kyoto's special, and I've obviously, well, now I have a house. I can't count how many times I've been there. But there's a lot of great things about Kyoto, Fushimi Inari and Gion Matsuri in the summer, and some beautiful temples. And in the mountains to the north, there's some really cool. I won't be able to remember the name of it, but if you've ever heard of this, whatever you want to call it, New Age movement or however you want to call it.
Reiki,
the Reiki Mountain
in Kibune.
That's it. Yeah, so I've been up and over that a few times.
Yeah, I did that in 2017, I think. Sort of.
Yeah,
it's
a cool place.
It is sort of the walk up there with all the lanterns, and then the temple at the top, and then you walk. Then what I did, I walked down the other side into Kibune village and went to one of those river restaurants where you sit over the river on tables. That was cool. I think that's in my advert. You can see my hand pouring a glass of sake in the advert. I was sat on there. I thought, this looks fantastic. I'll have a go.
Yeah.
Not cheap, but
right,
it was worth it for the experience. Yeah.
So I went there, and I also went to the grave of Usui, the guy who founded Reiki. I went to his grave, which is in Tokyo.
Oh, right.
Because my ex-wife is big into Reiki, so I did like a Reiki pilgrimage thing there, and stuff like that. So Kyoto's great. The whole Kyoto area. I think there's a lot of things that people don't know about Kyoto because they just go to like Gion and stuff like that.
Yeah, the main sort of which in itself. Oh, this is a shot of me with that advert. You see the shamisen girls playing for me. That was an mildly embarrassing situation. A YouTube friend, was supposed to meet me there at this restaurant with his cousins. Who he comes over sort of every so often because his Japanese wife has family there and they spend months there. And so he was coming over. I said, let's meet there. I know this place, and I knew that we would hear shamisen music, and. Sort of, I'd been there, like I showed earlier, at lunchtime, so a couple of years before, and bought the lunch menu, which was only like 2,500 yen. And I said, "Oh yeah, come along. We'll have dinner." Didn't think. Got there, and said, "Oh, my friends will be coming shortly." And here's the dinner menu, kaiseki, like 9,000 yen a shot.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I called him and said, "Is it all right? Is it all right?" And, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's cool. But then his plane was delayed, so I was just sat there waiting for them to arrive, and the shamisen girls would sort of bringing me drinks and coming forward, and are they here yet? Are they coming? And I had to explain they're probably not going to arrive. It's just going to be me. So I had a lovely kaiseki dinner, and as you saw in the advert, the girls played the music for me. So I had a great time. It cost me 9,000 yen, but I had a great time. But then my friends turned up sort of outside later, and we just went to a cheap ramen place together.
You know, the thing, I think one of the things I love about Japan, perhaps the most, is that you can get good stuff for any price. You know, if you want to spend, you know, Neiman and $200 for a meal or more, of course, it'll be great. But if you want to spend $5 for a meal, it will also be great. You know?
Yes, and I've had in just like a little place in a station with one of my friends. We just had like 500 yen for a bowl of, I presume it was ramen. I think it was ramen, and it was delicious. It was fantastic. You know,
I believe that, you know, like one of my fascinations in Japan is restaurants underneath train tracks, and you know, there's a lot of them. You know, in a lot of cities all over, you know, certainly the bigger cities, but or restaurants next to train stations and things like that. There's a lot of divey. I love divey places. That's another thing I love about Kyoto, and I think people who they really miss this part of Kyoto is that there's so many divey places in Kyoto, you know, that have been there. I went to this place. There's a Beatles bar in Kyoto.
All right,
and
cool.
And I play there whenever I go. I play, and a few doors down. Oh, I just realized I'm not supposed to relate this story, but I'm going to do it anyway. A few doors down, there's this traditional yakiniku place, and it's owned by this couple who have owned it. They've owned the restaurant for 60 years.
Good grief.
Them. So they are about 300, I think. And and they don't look a day over 200. And but they do all this stuff, and the walls are kind of like you know, like permeated with grease.
Yeah.
You know, and so, and I honestly think they stick the price lists on the wall. They just touch them to the wall and they stick. They don't need tape or anything like that. And so they do this. And my best friend who lives there, he's known these people for a long time. He's from Kyoto, and that was the only place I've ever had raw liver.
Oh, lovely.
And because that's banned, it's banned in Japan now.
Yeah,
it used to be a common thing, raw horse's liver.
Oh, no. Just reminds me of Monty Python. Can we have your liver?
Exactly. And but it was banned, but we managed to get some under the table raw liver there, which was quite delicious. But I mean, I love that kind of thing. That I don't like that word authentic, but you know, it's like it's a real deal. Yeah. Where you have to literally scrape away layers of authenticity, you know.
Lovely. No, I've been to Ponticho. This was and
I
like Ponticho. I like Ponticho better than Gion, but I mean, I was a bit too self-conscious to go into drunk. Well, yes, that came after. I was too self-conscious to go into the restaurants in Ponticho. Yeah, you know, the ones with a little no-ren outside and everything in Japanese on a. I better not go in there. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I just went to a Family Mart and got myself a bento and a kind of strong zero and sat by the river and got drunk and had a nice meal.
When I bought my house in Kyoto, it's in a real working class neighborhood, like real. I honestly, people came out their door and were looking at me like, "Oh my God, there goes the neighborhood," kind of thing. You know, when I came and bought this house, and there's two izakaya in the neighborhood, and you know something about Japanese izakaya, they don't have windows. Now for me, and they don't have any kind of signage. So all you know is that there's a door into a place there, and that there's food and drink in there, but you don't know what's going on at the time, you know? And that's very, very daunting as a foreigner, to not know what you're walking into. But, you know, I figured, well, I bought the place, I'm going to walk in. And these kinds of, those are always the most exciting places. And you just throw caution to the wind, and nobody spoke English, though I met kind of my... who would become kind of my best friend in Japan. I met him at the izakaya that first night after I bought my house. So
Cool.
yeah, and he wanted to talk English. He spoke like, he's not going to watch this, so I'll say he spoke like 10 words of English, and he wanted to talk to me, and he was the only person who spoke any English, and so we talked and we found out we were both musicians, and he changed my musical life and I changed his musical life. It's amazing, and that was just because I decided to open the door to a windowless izakaya and throw caution to the wind.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, I think I've been in an izakaya in Nagoya. That was my first izakaya. Where I think I showed the picture with the sake bottle and I talked about having the pig's intestines in miso, and I had natto and cottage cheese there. I remember.
Christ. I'm amazed because first of all, it's hard to find cottage cheese in Japan. So if you come and visit,
you first had a cottage cheese when you went to Japan. That was the first time you had cottage cheese.
I said it's hard to find cottage cheese.
It's hard to find cottage cheese in Japan.
I'm going to answer Mindy's mom in a second. But if you come and visit me in Miyagi, we will go to a little izakaya around the corner from here, which is called Noren, which I think is a very unambitious name.
Yes. Curtains.
But they have sake sampling platters. So you can get like 5 sakes for like $10 or something like that. It's really cheap too, and homemade and all the rest of that stuff. So where was it? And me dibble. I assume you mean love, not live. I love those little dinners you see on the TV show Midnight. Yes, yeah, that's true. Kind of the midnight, that midnight. I know the show you're talking about. Yes, just like that. There's hundreds of those, and I love those kinds of places. Because I need alcohol to have the nerve to speak Japanese. And to Mindy's mom, where I lived before I left for Japan. Well, you are kind of correct. I am from Canada. But I left Canada let's say 25 for the sake of argument, but it might be longer, 25 years ago. And I lived in Europe for 17 years.
2 years near me.
Yeah, 2 years near you. At the same time.
At the same time, but we did not know each other at that point.
Yeah. So yeah, I left Canada a long time ago. But I have a more of an American accent because I grew up very, very close to Detroit. So I have a bullet lodged. No, I don't have a bullet lodged. But yeah, so I grew up close to Detroit. So I have a kind of Detroit accent, I think, a little bit.
Yeah.
Detroit.
The only thing I know about Detroit is like famous early proto-punk bands come from there, like the Stooges.
Yeah. And Ted Nugent and Alice Cooper and and Eminem, of course. But Detroit. Man, I could tell you a million stories about Detroit, but we're on a show.
Wrong show. Yes.
So yeah, moving on from Kyoto. Other great places in Japan.
Well, this is Benten Beppu Ike again. This is like a photo of it. Have you ever been there?
I've never been to Shizuoka.
This is in Yamaguchi. That's why.
Well, I've never been there either.
It's worth a visit. It's worth a visit.
I thought Yamaguchi was the name of one of the Yakuza family.
That is correct, but it is also a prefecture. It's left of Hiroshima.
Left of Hiroshima.
Left of Hiroshima.
Go to Hiroshima.
Go to keep going and stop before you get to Kyushu, and then you're in Yamaguchi. This is Mori Gardens.
Is that where Shimino Seki is? Or
Shimonoseki is there. Yes, that's the bridge that connects Kyushu and Honshu.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were randomly in Omotesando now with a Harajuku girl for some reason.
A boot. Yeah.
So yes, I mean Yamaguchi I mean, obviously, I went there for this lady, but
Mhm.
England. I met Englandese there. He's probably gone now, but he was in comments before,
Mhm.
and we had a good time together. And hopefully, I shall go and see him again when I get there. Get back.
Yeah, so I've been to Hiroshima.
Hmm.
Have you been to Hiroshima or
No,
Hiroshima?
I've only been to Hiroshima Prefecture, to Onomichi,
Okay.
on my way back from Yamaguchi, and I had like a day spare. So, and I wanted to go somewhere other than all the other places that I usually go. And I thought, where can I go? And I did think of Nagasaki, because I like the little houses on the hills in Nagasaki.
Mhm.
And I discovered Onomichi, which is little houses on the hills, but not in Nagasaki, and easily accessible from the train,
Right.
which was like a critical thing. And yes, so Hiroshima Prefecture, but not Hiroshima itself.
Mhm. Hiroshima is pretty impressive. The museum is amazing. The Atom Bomb Museum is amazing. Depressing. I think it's it's very, very upsetting, and it's the way it's done is brilliant. And I think but it is very, very upsetting, the museum. So I recommend that if you like to be upset.
Okay.
And
if you'd like to be upset, come to Simon NoChaNoMa and be depressed. No.
And then, of course, across from Hiroshima is Miyajima, the temple in water.
Yes, I mean, I was tempted to go there, but then I saw an expanded photograph of the. You always see the sort of the lovely torii in the water, and you see the sort of the temple at low tide, and then you see the temple at low tide, and it's like it's just a temple in mud, and then there's like a torii in mud, and then all around it are like tourist shops that you don't see. So I kind of like, no, I mean, I might go one day, but Onomichi was. It was just a random choice, and it turned out to be really, really nice. I stayed in a lovely hostel called Yado Curly, which is a rather bizarre name. Up a tiny little street, all wooden building, lots of sliding windows and doors, and a very nice host and hostess. And one of the principles of it was you all sort of joined together in a main meal with all the other guests and all that. That was so. If you're sort of not socially, if you're a bit socially awkward, which I am sometimes, it could be a bit. I found that when I'm in Japan, obviously I forced myself to get on the plane and go to Japan. That my social awkwardness kind of evaporates slightly. Whether it's because I sort of go in character, or I don't know, but. That being said, I didn't use Japanese very much, so I was kind of limited in terms of social interaction outside of the YouTube community.
Right.
Even the Japanese friends there who are in it speak very good English, so I was rather mollycoddled, as it were, on my visits to Japan, not forced into sort of awkward situations where I had to get out my Google Translate or anything.
Right. You want me to put that where? Yeah.
Yes, or say Calpis backwards,
Yeah, exactly. So I explained this to my wife about the Calpis thing, in the backwards. Yeah. And then she goes, well, of course it was backwards. And I'm like, it's like, you didn't say that at the time. She goes, oh, I thought I did.
Yes.
I said, well, I just embarrassed myself on the internet. and she looked at me with this again kind of a face. I'm trying to think of. I did the Henro, the
Shikoku, is that pilgrimage?
Shikoku 88 temple walk. I only did 25. I only did 25 temples.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Did you have the white headgear?
Oh man, I did the whole thing. I did the whole thing with the stick and the whatever.
Yeah.
And I hen rode, and that was pretty amazing. That was very, very intense because of the language.
Yes, I can't imagine sort of people on Shikoku at temples having a fantastic command of English.
No, and I mean, you saw quite a few foreigners. I think probably more foreigners now, but there's a guy who wrote a book. You know, I'm just remembering all this. It's weird because I've totally forgotten about this, but now that we're talking about it, but there's a guy who wrote a book about walking the Shikoku. I think he's a Canadian guy. But when I was going to go, I emailed him and I went out to dinner with him the night before I started, and he like kind of wrote me like phrases that I needed to know and things like that. And
cool.
yeah, I did the walk. I did all the temples in Tokushima Prefecture. I walked.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
This is me, by the way, dressed like a local.
Okay.
Oh, that's Mitsukoshi department store, giant goddess statue. It is a giant goddess, indeed, giant and a goddess statue that you just come across on top of an organ. So I recommend visiting Mitsukoshi department store just for that. In Nihonbashi. But yes, I've never done anything kind of. The nearest I've got to doing anything, and that's my best friend in Nihonbashi. Doing anything in remotely sort of connected with anything like religious is a Hiwatari fire festival in Yamaguchi, where I walked across hot coals, which was rather interesting. I mean, there was lots of unfortunately, there might be some pictures later on with priests and so on. But
wow, she's tall, that actress.
She's quite tall for a Japanese woman. Yes, she's. I mean, that's me sat down, of course. But I mean, even so, I think that was the second time we went to lunch. So, but yes, the shugendo, the sort of the Yamabuchi, kind of like the mountain priests. They have a deal with the Buddhist priests at this particular temple in Yamaguchi, and they can do they're allowed to do their fire festival there, and the huge fire in a sort of place in front of the temple, and all the sort of viewers throw sticks, and on their sticks are all their sort of like either bad wishes or things that they want to get rid of or whatever. So at a certain point, this fire was going crazy, and the shugendo priests were blowing on conch shells, and it was all and drums were going, and all the audience threw their sticks into the fire, and it was all very sort of.
We do one here. When it's in February, I think, right? I think I can't remember the exact date, and they have a fire festival here. Same kind of thing. You dump all your crap into a big bonfire. Because I live not far from the second or third most important Inari shrine in Japan. The first is Fushimi, and then the second or third is this one here. And it's Takekoma Jinja.
Never heard of that one.
And which is, so we have a big fire festival thing here. And then we go to the shrine. I get in so much trouble. If I say shrine, my wife will say no, it's a temple. If I say temple, my wife will say no, it's a shrine. So I don't know. There is a difference.
There is a difference. One is Buddhist, one is Shinto. Yes. Yeah.
So, we go to. All I know is the names is Jinja. So we go to
Jinja. There's a shrine.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we go to Kanahebi Jinja every month and do our thing in there, which we can't do because you can't touch anything anymore. So you might as well. Yeah. So somebody said they had been to Nagasaki Museum. Dibble said that. I've not been to Nagasaki myself.
It's just a bit far, really. I mean, it's right at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I've been all over Honshu, but I've only been to Fukuoka and Kyushu, and I've been to Sapporo, and I've walked Shikoku. So I've technically been on all the islands, but I've really only seen a lot of Honshu. I'm curious to go to Dejima Island off of Nagasaki, which is the island that was
Dejima,
the which is the only place where foreigners could go.
Yeah, the Dutch. That's my friend in.
Yeah.
Back again.
Yeah. I was there for 3 months, but took 11 years to save up for the trip. Yeah. Japan, I don't find Japan so expensive. I think Japan's cheaper than Canada, to be honest. But transportation is expensive in Japan.
That's it's difficult for me to judge because obviously when I was there, I traveled mostly by train, and I'd bought a Japan rail pass.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was like, it did work out actually. I mean, when you're going from Tokyo to Yamaguchi and back, or even to Kyoto and to Nagoya, and you're doing all these Shinkansen trips, it adds up. You don't really realize how much it costs until you sort of study the prices that you would normally have to pay.
Yeah.
So I saved about equivalent of about 200 euros by taking the Japan Rail Pass.
Now there's I live in East Japan, or I live in the part of Japan serviced by JR East, and JR East now have a pass for foreigners, regardless of whether you live in Japan or not. So that's a huge boon. Of course, you can't go anywhere. And the pass is this is so typically Japanese. So they came out with this pass after the start of the corona whatever, of COVID, whatever. So they came out with this pass after the start of that, and the pass validity ends before we're going to be through this. So basically they've said, look, here's a discount train ticket. Oh, by the way, we don't want you to go anywhere.
Tom was saying from Shikoku, saying she rarely uses the Shinkansen. Yes, it's too expensive. Yeah. I mean, it was only afterwards when I got back and looked at the prices, like I was saying, that blimey, if I lived in Japan, I wouldn't use the Shinkansen either. I'd be one of those poor bastards on an all-night bus somewhere.
Now the Shinkansen is on half price. I don't know if it is down there, but it is up here. So, and that's the other thing. So they've given us this foreigner's pass, which actually makes things to be not, because things are on half price sale anyway. So, but for us to get to Tokyo from Sendai, which is our closest Shinkansen station, normally it would cost around $100 one way. So just to go down and back to Tokyo was $200. So that's
Tomo says she uses the LCC plane. Must be, is that like flights, internal flights, presumably?
LCC. Isn't that a limited liability company? No, that's LLC.
Not quite sure. I think. Do you mean you use the plane, Tomo?
LLC. While you're there for a while, we have to wait for our son to finish law school. We promised him a graduation gift to Japan. Better hope he doesn't have an accident or he's going to sue you.
I had to take it, but that's my one and only picture of Tokyo Tower, taken from the garden near there. I was not overly impressed with the garden. It looked a bit run down, but I got a nice view of the tower. It's near Zozoji Temple as well, which reminds me of that song, Zozoji.
The other thing I used to do when I came as a visitor to Tokyo, I would always go to that hotel that I can't remember the name of now, that was in Lost in Translation.
Oh, yes.
And
I don't remember that.
Is it the Four Seasons? I can't remember. And I would, or the Hyatt. No, it's the Hyatt.
Hyatt,
Park Hyatt. And so I would go there and go up to the bar, which is on the 44th floor or whatever. This is another thing about Japan that I find kind of bizarre, is that you go to this amazing 5-star hotel overlooking Japan, and you go to the bar on the 44th floor, and you're there with like whoever, amazing city view, and you have like the Prince of Saudi Arabia over there having dinner and all their this, and you order a beer and it's $4, and you're like, shouldn't it be like $40 or something like that?
Yeah.
And so I was really surprised, and I asked the waitress. I said, "Why is it so cheap?" And she goes, "Well, it's normal bar prices in Japan. That's how much you would pay for." And I'm like, "Yeah, but this isn't a normal bar." And I don't think she really understood what I was trying to say. So I looked at the dinner menu, and it was cheaper to have dinner at the Park Hyatt than it was to go to like a kaiseki restaurant in Tokyo somewhere. So we used to go to Japan every year on my birthday. So I would go to the Park Hyatt and have dinner every year on my birthday.
Lucky bugger.
Yeah. And it was like, not expensive. So.
I can't remember. This is possibly Tokyo, from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building Observatory thing.
That looks
possibly.
like Skytree over there. Underneath the word living. That looks like Tokyo Skytree. So
yes, it is. Yes, it is from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building Observatory.
And this looks like a slum in Hong Kong.
No, it's actually you could just see that green bit in the background is Meiji Jingu.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So yes, I went there. I think in 2016 to the Metropolitan Government Building. Or was it 2017? It's all a blur. 1 year merges into the next, kind of thing in my memories. This is Nagoya. This is a large metallic ball in Nagoya.
This is like a scene from a Godzilla movie.
Yes, it's just going to loom over this and kick the ball.
Oh my God, we've run over again.
We've run over again, and my pictures go on forever. I'm sorry. I haven't written it there for people who didn't know where it was. It's Nagoya. Yes.
Where is that?
That's Nagoya, just outside Nagoya Station. It's a rather cool building. It's a nice, cool building.
I've been to Nagoya. There's a great kimono store just on the outskirts of Nagoya that I've been to.
What I did notice about Nagoya, outside of the sort of the center, where you've got all these cool buildings and that bit with Tomoko Des before, where we were in the nightlife with all the bright lights, it's not as enthralling as even Kyoto or Tokyo. It's kind of like mundane. There's like a concentrated bit in the middle that's all like culture. This is like Oz Cannon in the center of Nagoya. And all the sort of skyscrapery stuff and modern stuff and cultural stuff. And then as the further out you get, it kind of like everything sort of shrinks down in size and becomes rather mundane.
So Dibble says, I did not like Nagoya. There's something, I have to say, I didn't like it either. It's a weird vibe there. I don't know what it was. I just did not feel, as they say in Holland, gezellig, It wasn't gezellig.
I noticed that once I got out of, I was looking for a Don Quixote, as you do, in Nagoya, and I took the wrong path and I wandered off outside of and it all became kind of like, oh, it's not what I expected, It was kind of like,
there was nothing quaint about it, or not even anything kitschy, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it was flattened. It was either flattened during. I think
it was probably flattened. Yeah, so they only got like a few little bits and pieces that are sort of like nice, and then the center bit with all the skyscraper bits and action going on, and then the rest is like what they built up after the rest had been flattened.
Yeah, it's just not. I don't know. So if you go out like. Kind of like the couple of the smaller towns that I've been to like kimono shops and things like that, those are all right, but I found that the city is just like and it seems to be chock-a-block with English teachers as well, and it seems to be kind of like the center of the English teaching world. And
Well, it's funny you should say that. I mean, Tomoko Des obviously is sort of is a student or was a student of I don't know. People in the comments may know, and you may have heard of him. Give Me a Break Man, who has an English school there. Sort of, he's like, you know, I went to see him and to his English school. So yes, it seems to be the center of that kind of activity. But
I don't have a huge. Never mind. I'm not going to continue that thought about it. There's no point.
Which will be. A lot of my YouTube friends are, in fact, English teachers.
Yeah. So I'm just not saying anything at this point in time.
Well, here we are, back in Kyoto.
Let's talk about Kyoto. There we go.
Yeah, here we are, back in Ninenzaka. It's Phil's house. No.
My house. That would be like an upgrade to my house.
I've walked around the sort of like the ordinary bits of Kyoto. I mean, in Higashiyama anyway. Sort of just the regular back streets. Which part are you? North, south, east, or west?
My house is in South Kyoto, which is the real shit part, if I can use that word on this of Kyoto. No offense to anybody who's from South Kyoto. And I'm in southern Fushimi, so. Kind of butts up against the northern end of Uji, which I didn't really realize. But Uji's a huge city geographically, so it does touch the bottom. So South Fushimi, just over the river, there's some really cool places. I mean, I could take people on a cool tour of Kyoto. There's so many cool places in South Kyoto that you won't really find in tourist books or whatever, because I think it's only locals, who lives there. But and there's a really neat place in South Kyoto that is a little bit famous at Chuchojima, and it used to be where stuff would come by boat in the old days from Osaka up the river to Kyoto. And Chuchojima was where they would unload, and they had all these warehouses, and it used to be a lot of sake factories there. Now there's a few sake factories, but now they're really like cool restaurants and things like that. It's an amazing part. I would gush about Kyoto. I love it. I really do.
Pablo has to go. He's got to go and spy on more people on the internet. See you, Pablo. And so now, hopefully, we've connected on the old Facebooky thing. So I've got you on chat anyway. So yes. This is Kibune. This is the restaurants over the river thing. That's that's north of Kyoto though.
Yeah.
And my friend Chuck, the singer, who was the woman, the Renaissance PhD lady, she said, "Oh," I was like saying, "Where can I go? What can I do? I've got a day spare in Kyoto." He said, "Oh, go to Kibune and to the shrine and the Mount Kurama. That's it, Mount Kurama."
Yeah, that's it, Mount Kurama.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
I went there.
I'm just trying to remember the name of that. What's the name of that station? Damachi Yanagi. That's it. Yeah. A friend of mine, another Kyoto friend, he's an American though. He's lived in Kyoto for 35 years or something like that. And he runs a cheesecake store and restaurant in Kyoto called Papa John's. If you're ever in Kyoto, it's a very tasty American cheesecake. He's from New York, so it's a real deal cheesecake. And he has a shop around Damachi Yanagi and other places. He has 3 stores, and he's quite successful. Good for him as a foreigner.
Yes, very good.
Goodbye, Tomoko.
Oh, have you got to go, Tomo?
No, I mean Tomoko is in the picture saying goodbye.
Oh, she's saying goodbye to me on the Shinkansen. Yes.
Yeah. Sado Island.
I'm trying to think where that is. I've heard of it.
Is that the one in the north or the? I want to go to the island. There's an island on the Sea of Japan side. That could be Sado. And there's also an island off the off Tokyo. Sato Island. Oh, Niigata. That's it. Yeah, the one off of Niigata is the one I'm thinking of. I would love to go there. I was almost.
Oh, yes, I know it. Yes, north.
Yeah.
North of like you go up from Tokyo and keep going up until you reach the sea, and then keep going further.
Yeah.
And you're on Sato Islands.
It's not far from here. I'm trying to think of.
Oh, so Mindy's mom's got to go. No, Mindy's mom.
no.
Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed it.
It's 330 kilometers from here, Sato Island. There you go. Okay, then we've driven everyone away, I think.
Well, more or less. And those are my friends I made friends with people in a restaurant near Nezu Shrine, as you do. I was just like looking on Google Maps where to eat.
Especially if they're young and female.
Yes, generally, I just walked in and said hello. I've just been recommended by Google to come to your restaurant, and they treated me very nicely, and I went back several times over the years. And so the lady in the middle gave me sort of a pair of sunglasses, and the one on the right here with my cursor going over it, that she's the owner, and that's what it looks like from the outside. She set it up herself. It's very nice. I could recommend it. Anybody going to Nezu in the Yanasen district near Nippori Station in Tokyo, pop into Okairi and say that Simon sent you. Okay, I think with that I shall just go back to me and my old living room and give it a rest for the slideshow. And for another time we'll have a slideshow. But next week on Simon NoChaNoMa, it's that time again. Next week on Simon NoChaNoMa, not a clue. I shall try and get a guest, or shall try and do stream of consciousness, or it could be the Jazz and Simon show again.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Or Phil may do his own live stream and invite me on, and it'll be the Simon and Jazz show.
Yeah.
I don't know. But thanks for everybody for watching and popping in. My friend in Sub, I didn't make it, unfortunately, but never mind. But I hope you all enjoyed it. Those watching after the event, I hope you enjoyed it too. And I didn't bore you to tears with all my pictures and sort of egotistical ramblings. But thank you again. Next week, it'll be probably the same time, same place. And hopefully not quite the same content, but we never know. Thank you now, all. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye, Ellen. Bye, Beppo. Bye, Dibble. Bye, Mindy's mother. They've gone. Yes, they've gone. Somebody just joined, but we're going now. I'm sorry. You missed it all. Sorry.